Switch off.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So, I don't know how visible I'm going to be in this video. It's nighttime. I think the light's on. I have no idea, and I'm not asking because everyone's asleep, and yeah, it's nighttime. But it's the only time I can do a video because, again, it's too hot to do videos, and I refuse to turn off the AC. So, whatever. You could get my ceiling fan today. I don't know what you're getting, but in any case, you are at least getting the verbal version, the audio version of my July reading wrap-up. I did not read that many books in July. I'll be honest. It's because I've been watching Vanderpump Rules. Ever since that whole scandal broke on Vanderpump Rules, that's all I've been hearing about. So I am like, okay, what is this show? So I started watching it all summer. I just finished it. We're talking 10 seasons of TV. So I've not gotten that much reading done. But don't worry. August is my birthday month, and I'm going to crank up on the reading. I already have 2 books going. I need to get back into it because this is bad. Anyway, I'll just get started. This will probably be a short recap because I reviewed some of these books. So, first one is My Friend Anne Frank by Hannah Pick Goslar. I give this one 5 stars. I don't know what was up with this year, but it was like 2 Anne Frank related books came out this year by 2 different people related to Anne Frank, and I had to read them immediately. I've always been sort of obsessed with Anne Frank since I read her diary, and so whatever comes out about Anne Frank, I'm going to read it. So there's that one. It's about her best friend Hannah, and she actually survived the concentration camps, and it just talks about her life and, her relationship with Anne and how she actually saw her in the concentration camp. She was shocked because during, the years of the war, she thought that Anne was in Switzerland when they were actually hiding in the annex. So we actually get to hear from her perspective, what it was like to actually see Anne, in the concentration camps. And, well, I mean, it's not a spoiler to say that Anne died and Hannah did not. So that's very sad. All this time she thought that Anna was safe and she wasn't, and Hannah ended up being the one who survived. So, yeah. But it talked all about her life and stuff, and it was very sad. And, yeah, the interesting thing is that she barely made it to finish this book. She died, I think less than a year ago. And so, I mean, she had a co-writer writing it with her, so, yeah. But, the co-writer did, an afterwards, and I forgot what year she died. I know if she died in 2022 or 2023, but, she wrote this during the pandemic. She barely finished writing the book in time for Hannah to, pass away. It was so sad. But, I mean, Anne Frank was in the 40s, so people who knew her, I'm surprised any of them are still alive, to be honest with you. But yeah, there's that one. I gave that one 5 stars. Can you honestly give people's memoirs lower than 5 stars? I'm genuinely curious about this. How can you give somebody's personal story a low rating? It's not, a fiction book that you can critique. I don't know. I'm just curious. Whatever. Anyway, then I read The Last Secret of the Secret Annex. I'm not even going to try to pronounce this last name, or this name, but I also give this one 5 stars. This, is basically this, one of the helpers from the Secret Annex, Bep. You never really hear much about her after, post-war. She kind of kept to herself and didn't want the spotlight and stuff. But her son kind of writes about basically her life, what he knows of her life, as well as, well, there's this huge secret. I'm not going to spoil because yikes. But basically what his family kind of went through because of what happened to the Franks and the Van Pelses and everybody in the secret annex. Like, his whole family was kind of affected by it, like by her guilt that they got betrayed and just all of that. Like, she never recovered from it. So it was a really sad book, and like how her children and grandchildren were affected by it. I mean, we never heard from her again. And when you read this, you realize why you never heard from her again. If anyone is interested in Anne Frank, this is the book to read. So, yeah. Any of my World War II historical fiction people, get this book. It's not fiction, but Lindsay, Krista, anyone else? Yeah, you will not believe what's in this book. I mean, it's so sad, but it's so shocking too. Trigger warnings for like stuff related to mental illness and depression and all that, but yikes. That's all I can say. 5 stars. Then I read The Painter's Daughter by Julie Clausen. I heard about this one through book lover Amanda. I actually heard about it a long time ago, but yeah, Katie from Paperbacks and Ponytails actually talked about Julie Clausen, and I guess it was another book she was reading, and the title sounded familiar, so I went and looked it up, and I was like, I wanted to read a book by this author, and I found the book I wanted. And then right after that, Amanda from Book Lover Amanda read it, and so I decided to read it this month. I reviewed it. I gave it 4 stars, so I'll let you guys watch my review if you want my thoughts on that. But basically it's about Sophie. She is a daughter of a portrait painter. She basically helps her father in his studio, and she meets this charming artist. They have a passionate affair. She gets pregnant. Artist takes off. Brother comes and finds out she's pregnant, offers to marry her, and this whole love triangle, it's wild. And I know I talked about this in my review, like, Amanda was not, like, a huge fan of Wes, the artist, and I totally get it. I'm not a fan of him either, but I also felt sorry for him because of the times. Like, I don't know, I think if he'd lived in this century, where he could at least have rights to his own kid, he wouldn't take losing the girl so hard. But, like, he lost everything. I don't know. But then at the same time, he's kind of a monster, so I don't know. I don't know how sorry I feel for him. Because at the end of the day, I don't know. I can't really say more without spoiling the book, because he did something else. Oh, what the heck? Who cares? I can't resist. He literally abandoned another pregnant woman knowing she was pregnant. So it's hard to, I feel sorry for him, but at the same time I don't. Because you know the consequences and what happens to a woman when you dump her and walk away. She loses the kid and you get away with it. You know the times you live in. And I'm not saying I necessarily think you have to marry everyone you impregnate, but still. Yeah. I spoiled this book. Sorry, guys, I can't help it. Maybe I'll put that in the description. Anyway, I had to. Love Stephen, the brother who she marries, and yeah, there's that. Next, I read The Italian Ballerina by Christy Cambron. I give this one 4 stars. I'll read the description for this one. Rome, 1943. With the fall of Italy's fascist government and the Nazi regime occupying the streets of Rome, British ballerina Julie Bradbury is stranded and forced to take refuge at a hospital on Tiber Island. But when she learns of a deadly sickness that is sweeping through the quarantine wards, a fake disease known as Syndrome K, she is drawn into one of the greatest cons in history. Alongside hospital staff, friars of the adjoining church, and 2 allied medics, Julia risks everything to rescue Italian Jews from the deadly clutches of the Holocaust. But when one little girl who dreams of becoming a ballerina arrives at their door, Julia and the others are determined to reunite the young dancer with her family. If only she would reveal one crucial secret, her name. Present day. With the recent loss of her grandfather, a beloved small-town doctor and World War II veteran, Delaney Coleman returns home to help her aging parents, even as she struggles to pick up the pieces of her own life. When a mysterious Italian woman claims she owns one of the family's precious heirlooms, Delaney is compelled to uncover what's true of her grandfather's hidden past. Together with the woman's skeptical but charming grandson, Delaney learns of a Roman hospital that saved hundreds of Jewish people during the war. Soon, everything Delaney thought she knew about her grandfather comes into question as she wrestles with the possibility that the man she'd revered all her life had unknown ties to Rome and may have taken noble secrets to his grave. Very long description, but yeah. I had a difficult time getting into this book. I did enjoy it, but there was so much flipping back and forth in perspectives between, like, even the past timelines. You're with all these characters. You go back to 1939, to 1943, to, like, it's insane. Like, I need you to have two timelines and stick to them and kind of go forward linearly. And this book just had me confused, and I don't know, there were just some, like, one of the medic stories I just did not care about. Like, I don't care about your girlfriend. Sorry. But I wanted more from the little ballerina, and there wasn't that much, and I don't know. I didn't hate the book. Like, I got into it once I fell into the rhythm of it, but I don't know. I just couldn't get into it as much, I guess. Amanda from Book Lover Amanda also read it, I think in May. I think she said she liked it, but I think she liked it more than I did. I don't know. It wasn't one of my favorite World War II historical fictions, but it was all right. Then I finished Becoming Sister Wives. It's the story of, the sister wives on TLC. Cody is the husband, his 4 wives, polygamous family, Mary, Janelle, Christine, and Robin. So 5 people wrote this book, along with a ghostwriter who did not get a good editor, because this book was riddled with spelling mistakes. Anyway, I have been reading this over the course of several months because I was following along with a podcast. It's called We Love to Hate Everything. Literally, these 2 ladies, Amanda and Jody, they basically kind of critique pop culture, and they're super, like, into Sister Wives. I mean, so am I. So is probably everybody who watches it. But they have been covering, like, book club. They've been basically reading this book aloud every week for months, and I've been following along. And I'm actually going to do a review on the book later, but suffice it to say that this family was dysfunctional long before Robert Brown joined it, and I am really going to review this book because I need to talk about this, but I gave it 4 stars. It was actually a reread. I read it a long time ago when I first watched the show, but I wanted to read it with them. So, yeah, I'll go into that more later. Then I read The Postcard by Anne Berest. I heard about this one through the Fabled book preview. Fabled is a bookstore in Waco, Texas, and they had, like, their book preview where they talked about upcoming books that were coming out that they were excited about, and this is one of them. So I'll read the description. January 2003. Together with the usual holiday cards, an anonymous postcard is delivered to the Berest family home. On the front, a photo of the Opera Garnier in Paris. On the back, the 4 names of Anne Berest's maternal great-grandparents, Ephraim and Emma, and their children, Noemi and Jacques, all of whom died at Auschwitz in 1942. Almost 20 years after the postcard is delivered, Anne is moved to discover who sent it and why. Aided by her chain-smoking mother, countless family, friends, and associates, a private detective, a graphologist, and many others, she embarks on a journey to uncover the fate of the Rabinovich family, their flight from Russia following the revolution, their journey to Latvia, Palestine, and Paris, the war and its aftermath. What emerges is a thrilling and sweeping tale that shatters her certainties about her family, her country, and herself. So, I'll admit this book took me a little bit to get into, but once I did, I was into it until the end. I mean, it's literally like, who sent this postcard? Why was this postcard sent? And she kind of does like, and basically does research into her family's history. This is based on true events, it sounds like. You know, and it's a really interesting book. Like, this is one of those books that even non-fans of World War II historical fiction is enjoying. So I really did enjoy it. I think, honestly, it took me a while to get into it because I couldn't find it in Braille. I've been listening to books and reading them at the same time. So if I'm like in the car, I'll listen to it. And then if I'm like at home, I'll read it. So it took me a while to kind of get through it because it was just audio. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. So yeah, there's that one. And then the last book I read was The Amish Teacher's Gift by Rachel J. Good. I gave this one 3 stars. Basically, it's about this woman who... I already forgot her name. That's how memorable this book is. What is her name? This is so bad. Gosh. Basically, she teaches at a Amish, like, special needs school. And, she meets this widower who has a son who is deaf. And Ada, that's her name. Ada. And so she meets this guy and, you know, obviously it's going to be a romance, but he doesn't know sign language and all that stuff. And she also has some family secrets of her own. And she's raising like her 7 siblings by herself, Ada. And then she meets this guy and it's a whole romance. Honestly, I enjoyed the story. Like, I got into, I guess his son's story. Like, his little kid who lost his mom. And, you know, he's confused. He doesn't understand. Josiah is the guy's name, and Noah is the child's name. Whatever. But, yeah, Noah lost his mother died, and Josiah doesn't know how to explain it, so Noah's confused, so he's raging, and he can't communicate because there's no sign language, and so you get into their plight. What kind of, like, I guess made me write the book down is just, like, all they kept talking about was how they would gaze into each other's eyes and people would kind of figure out they're in love, and they kept getting in trouble because they kept looking at each other. And I'm just like, wear blindfolds if it's that difficult for you to, like, keep your eyes off each other. Like, really? You guys are annoying me because everybody is, like, finding out you're into each other because of those longing looks and the fact that you can't speak in each other's presence. Like, it's one of those love stories. It's a little ridiculous, and it's like, okay, just zip it already. We get it. You're in love. And the reason they couldn't be in love was because he hadn't mourned his wife long enough. And so, like, you know, the town or the Amish community was kind of against it until the mourning period was over. And so they kept kind of getting in trouble because, like, people would notice their longing looks. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. I don't care. I mean, like I said, I did care about the side characters and, like, the family itself and all of that. And I'm still going to read the other books in the series. The next one is about a midwife, which I'm excited about. I think it's called The Amish Midwife's Secret. I'm really interested. I like this series. Can you be a little less obvious with your love? I guess, like, be a little more subtle. Just stop making googly eyes and people won't notice you're in love. Like, do people honestly, like, have that much trouble speaking when in the presence of someone they have a crush on to that extent? Like, stop it. Just stop. Anyway, I've just, like, probably offended every romance reader known to man, haven't I? And don't get me wrong, I like romance, but just don't make it so obvious. We get it. Okay, a romance isn't my favorite genre. It has to be the right one. And there has to be a good story behind it. And this one did have a good story. I just felt like, okay, can you act like people and not like mutes who can't speak because the other one's standing in front of you in public? Stop it. Anyway, rant over. And so is my wrap up. That is all I read this month. So yeah, I'm going to do my review on Sister Wives soon, and I will post it. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow when I'm actually sure that I'm visible. Anyway, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!
Speech on. Close. 10% close. Stop recording video.